So what's up everyone, it is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into ranking all of my bronzers. Yes, all my powder bronzers. I'm gonna rank the cream ones too, but I got one more I gotta use, so I figured I'd start off with the powder since I have the most of those. If I counted correctly, I believe there were 35 in this box that we're about to talk about, so yeah, that's a lot. And I'm ranking them from worst to best, my personal opinion, so I should probably tell you what my preferences when it comes to bronze, and then that'll probably help with, you know, this ranking. So I like a satin to matte finish bronzer. I like where it hardly feels like you're putting on bronzer, like the Huda Beauty review I did. You know how you blended it and it felt like you blended nothing, as I said in the video, but you could see the color on your face and it didn't take a lot of work. I like bronzers like that. I like red tone bronzer when it comes to the summertime, and more like neutral yellowish undertone cool bronzers when it comes to the spring and winter time. So those are the type of bronzers I like. Now a couple of them I have the wrong shades in. I got them a little bit too dark, so I have to wear those in the summertime only and not in the wintertime. But otherwise, I have a general idea. Those are the general rules when it comes to bronzer for me. So we'll start off with number 35, because like I said, I believe I counted 35. I might have counted more. Don't quote me, girl. It's this SHANTIKAI Real Bronzer in the shade Goa. This is easily the worst bronzer in my collection. I feel like it looks ashy, and although it goes on the skin nice with its gelée formula, it's just not the bestest. Now I won't be showing any of like the bronzer palettes that have bronzers, blushes, and highlights in them, or if they just have under eye brightening powders, so like the Marc Cosmetics ones. I'm not going to show that in here because it has like an eye brightening product underneath it and then two different bronzers. I want to literally just do like bronzers and nothing else. Anyway, back to this bronzer. I thought this bronzer was terrible. First of all, they only have two shades in it, and this is the darkest shade. And let me swatch it so you can see how non-existent it is on people my skin tone. It just looks like a really cool ashy thing going on. See, you can barely see it on my hand. It just looks like an ashy swatch on my hand. So it's like, imagine me, and expensive as SHANTIKAI is, the fact that I have to put cream bronzer underneath here and then put this on top, just trash. I'm sorry. That's why it's dead last. It has nothing to do with the formula of the product, because the formula of it is actually quite nice. It's just like, I don't want to have to try to make it work with the coloring of it. Now there's another one I'm willing to make it work because the formula is a million times better than that, but we'll eventually get to that one. But that one is dead last for me just because I don't like that. The second thing I don't really like too much in bronzers is shimmery bronzer, so that's why these next two are low. And I feel bad because they're black owned brands, but it's like, if I'm not genuinely into a shimmery bronzer and it's not giving all of that, then, you know, there are a couple of shimmery bronzers like more than these two, which is why they're at the bottom. So this is the Mented Cosmetics bronzer in the shade Yacht Life. Now I thought it was weird that the shade that's my shade is the only one that has shimmered. I've heard all the other ones don't have shimmered, but this one has like green and gold shimmer particles in it. And the formula to me just was okay. Aside from the fact this is one I can only wear in the summer, and summer is the shortest thing here in Chicago. It's the shortest season. So last thing I need is a bronzer like this, because it's like I can only use it for 3 months and then bam, it's fall and winter, and winter is the longest thing that lasts in Chicago. So the fact that that's just my preference is another reason that this one is number 34, because it's like, girl, it ain't it's not going to be used that often, and then it has shimmer particles in it, which isn't something that is my preference when it comes to the formula of that particular bronzer. So next I have the LIPBAR Fresh Glow Bronzer Blush Duo. I forgot the blush was underneath here because I hardly if ever use it. That's why I just brought it up here for bronzer purposes. So my bad, I already cheated on what I said, but we're already here now. It's too late. It's too late. I like the color of this one better, which is why I picked it. But again, it has those shimmer reflex in it. Now I feel like you don't see the shimmer reflex on your face with either one of these. It's just a personal preference thing. So I don't like the fact that there is shimmer in it. And it's not, to me, it doesn't give like a regular shimmer. To me, it's just more like, I guess, glitter particle shimmer. Or it could just be that I'm just not really into shimmery bronzers. And I feel like this is kind of light and a shimmery bronzer. So it's like, I don't want to wear a shimmery, sparkly bronzer in the wintertime. And I feel like this would consider more of my winter bronzer, because as you can see, my skin tone versus like the powder itself. So that's why it's where it is for me. So I guess that was 33. 32, I have the, what is this, the COKEY matte bronzer. First of all, it goes with the shade of this one, because look how light this is. Like, it looks somewhat dark, but it's like, this is one I can only use in the wintertime. And I told you I don't like red undertones in the wintertime, but this is a red undertone, and then it's like too light for me to wear now. I have to put a cream underneath it and then do that. And it's like, I just said I had 35 powder bronzers and we didn't get into the cream bronzers. So do I really want to have to go through all that and do all that just to use it? No. But this is slightly ahead of the other bronzer, for the simple fact that it doesn't have shimmer in it. But the shade range on this is atrocious. I think it might be like 3 shades in this, and I feel like maybe Karen can pull off this shade, but otherwise, like, I don't think anybody else can. Like I said, I have to put a cream underneath it to make this work. So I wasn't feeling the shade range of this. I know, like, you know, this brand isn't known for having great shade ranges for people my skin tone, but Mel Thompson kept raving about it, and I think I found it on clearance on their website for like $5 or something, and I was like, I'll try it since Mel keeps raving about it. You won't see that many drugstore bronzers in here just because I don't know, I feel like the drugstore doesn't really cater to people that look like me, so that's fine, because there's plenty of other brands that will, and, you know, black owned brands that will, and you'll see some more black owned brands later on, but, you know, be that as it may, like I said, I think I said that was 32, so I'm pretty sure this makes this 31 then. Again, I don't know if the numbering's right or not. I was too lazy to take them out the box and count again, so here we are. This is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. Now, I was really impressed with the quality of this. My only thing is, like, I mean, it's great for the price too, but you gotta think about it. Like, I'm getting 2 shades in here I don't need. I use this one in the winter, and then I use, like, this one in the summer, but it's like, I still got 2 extra things that I don't need. And although I can get this for really dirt cheap, because they sell this at CVS, and then if you're part of their, like, what is it, their Care Club or whatever it is, like, you get a $10 extra buck every month, so you could literally get this palette for free if you shop it at CVS. But it's just like, I don't need these extra bronzers. It's like when that Huda one came out, everybody was talking about the Huda palette. It's like, you give me shades I don't need. I can't use either one of these, and I have a million eyeshadow palettes, so I'm not going to use these as eyeshadows. So I can only use the bottom half. I'd have felt better if they had did it the way like UA or V did it, where it's like, it had just been these 2 shades in a palette like this, and then these 2 shades for people who actually, you know, can use them, because I feel like you just wasted my money by giving me ones that I don't need in my collection. But the formula on it was nice. It works nice. If you are freelance, I guess you could use it for that, because I don't really see an everyday person like me needing something like this. I bought it to review. Otherwise, in real life, I wouldn't have bought this, but I'm glad I did, because the formula on it was really nice, and I feel like it's a step in the right direction for them, because that means that, you know, you're trying to be inclusive with bronzers, unlike your sister brand, you know, Catrice, who just keeps bringing out the same things over and over again and not making anything for people my skin tone that isn't like complexion related. Like, they still haven't come up with bronzers for people that look like me, but that's another story for another day. So the next bronzer I have is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I have the darkest shade, which is deep. Of course, y'all know they do light, medium, deep. Some things just don't change. This is a shimmery bronzer, but I find it's not nearly as shimmery as the other 2 from the black owned brands that I talked about. Plus, it's a drugstore option for people who do like a shimmery bronze, which is another reason it's higher up. They do still sell this collection at Walmart. I don't know if it's just Walmart exclusive now, because I haven't seen it anywhere else. But whenever I go on Walmart, they always have this one. And then they have the new one that they came out with after this one, Club Cabana or something like that, I believe it was called. But I preferred this one of those 2. I had bought that one to try it out too, and I just wasn't impressed with it the way I was impressed with this one. That's why this one's a little high up, because it is a drugstore individual one that has shimmer in it, and I figure you can use it on face and body. And I like the formula of this one better than I like the formula of the new one that they came out with as well. So I had bought it, but I took it back to the store, I think, after I reviewed it, because I just wasn't feeling it. And I think I actually deleted that video too, just because y'all wouldn't feel it either, apparently. Next one I have is the Morphe Glamour Bronze Face and Body Bronze. I have the shade Leader. I originally had a Phenom, which was the darkest shade they originally came out with, but they broadened the horizon. Then when they had the 70% off sale, and I had bought the brushes from Jaclyn Hill's collection to try out their eye brushes, I just went ahead and bought this bronzer because Andrea Renee was talking about how nice it was. And it is a nice bronzer, but again, it leans red tone, so this is something I would only use in the summertime. But the formula is quite nice on it, considering it's Morphe, so I figured that's why I could put it a little bit higher. As you can see, it's not super high. It's in the first stack of all the bronzers I have to rank, so it's not truly that great. I have stuff I like better, but it was better than the other ones I just named, which is why it is where it is. I've only used this one a couple of times, but I've used the Phenom one a few times before I had bought this today. So I figured I could rank it where I rank it and felt comfortable because the formulation is the same. It's just a deeper shade. Okay, so the next one I have is the Colored Rain bronzer in the shade Mocha Queen. Now this is a nice bronzer. I just bought a shade darker than I needed to. I should have reminded myself it's a black on brand, so I actually know what bronzer shade you need. You don't have to go a shade up because they saturated the pictures. Like it's actually gonna be whatever color that, you know, Lorraine said that it was going to be. So as you can see, my shade is too dark. I can wear this shade now though. The formulation of this is nice. It's just, again, I have stuff in my collection I like better, and it doesn't help like this is a shade that's quite dark, so I can only use it in the summertime. So I took that into consideration when I rank these things as well, because it's like, if I can only use it in the summertime, to me that makes it less valuable in my collection, because like I just told you all, summer is the shortest season here in Chicago. Winter is the longest season for us. Fall and winter are the longest seasons in Chicago, and there's lots of snow to come, I'm sure. But this is a nice formulation. This is a nice product. It's just, I can't use it that often, and then I have things in my collection I like better, which is a theme that you'll see here if you haven't noticed. The next one I have is the Nars bronzing powder in the shade Punta Cana. They had another one that they had came out with that I wanted to get, but it took forever for them to come out with my shade, and by then I had just stopped caring, because I'm like, it took y'all long enough. Everybody else's shade came out, just like with the Makeup by Mario thing, and then, you know, which you'll see him later, but you know. This is a nice color. This is the darkest color they had, and I feel like it's not super dark. It is red tone, but I don't feel like it's a red tone that I can't pull off in the wintertime and be comfortable with, so that's why it's a little bit higher up, because I can pull it off, and it is actually an okay red. I think, is there shimmer in here? I feel like there's a little bit of shimmer here, but it's not like to the extent of the other ones I showed you before, where it's like you can clearly see the shimmer. I feel like it's a subtle shimmer, for lack of a better term, and it has the same nice formulation that the Casino and Laguna bronzers normally have. So it's a great product. I wouldn't say rush out and get this one. If you have Casino, I would probably just stick with Casino, because I actually like the coloring of that a little bit better, because it's more neutral. I feel like I can wear it all year long whenever I feel like it. And I have the cream version of Casino as well, if you all forgot about that. The next one I have is the Huda Toasted. Now this one is surprisingly higher up than I thought it would be, because the formulation on this is really nice. It's just, again, it's more of a red tone thing, and I'm not really into red tones. Plus, I don't like the fact that it took 533 years to come out with this, so you think it would be lower, but I feel like the formulation of it is nice enough to where it could be higher than those other things. But based upon how long it took them to come out with this, they get a 0. They get a -5. Because this product's been out for how long, and you just came out with shades for people my skin tone, but like 2 years ago? I feel like it was 2 years ago. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but you know, the point is it took them forever to come out with it for anybody who looked like me, and then they revert back and come out with a new glow version and only have one shade. So it's like, did you really learn anything? I feel like we didn't, because if you did, you came out with more than one glow version. So you learned nothing, and I don't ever really use this product, and when I do, I don't tell y'all that I'm using it, because I ain't trying to get in ass. It's no hype and no shine, because they didn't show their sentiments concerning people that look like me, and I'm fine with it, because like I said before, it's 35 bronzers in this box. So you're not the only person who makes them. And since other people actually wanted to make them for me the first go round, or at least the second go around, I ain't got to deal with all that. So I'm not going to. The next one I have is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in the shade Tantalize. It took him forever to come out with a shade for people my skin tone too. And for me to be disappointed, because it's like, y'all was hyping this up, but it's just mediocre. It's not all what you tried to make it to be. I said that in the video, and people gave me thumbs down and got mad, and me being me, I didn't care, because it's just okay. Y'all pumped this up to be so much more than it actually is. It's just okay. It's not all that. I only put it this high because honestly, I feel like I put it this high because it's like a cult classic thing, and it is a decent bronzer, but people try to make it seem like it's gonna change my life, and it didn't. The top 10 changed my life. I'm wearing #1 on my face right now, but like, yeah, you know, it's just okay. Like, it's not a bronzer I would rush out and get if I lost my bronzers. Like the top 10 in this video, if I top 10 or 15, and like if I ran out of those, like those are ones I immediately have to go to the store and get again, because they're ones that I use quite frequently. This one, I can't tell you the last time I used this bronzer. I really can't, just because it was just okay. And I'm kind of glad I'm not attached to it the way other people were attached to it, because Marc Jacobs is closing down. So the last thing I need is to have a bronzer I can't use anymore. Now, I am sad about this bronzer, because this is actually the first high-end bronzer I bought. I saw Jackie Aina with it on in one of her like favorites videos that she used to do before she stopped doing those. It is Becca's Sunlit Bronzer in the shade Maui Nice. Now, this was the darkest shade they had. This is definitely red undertone, but you can see I made a nice little dip in it, if you can't tell, because I really liked this product. And I know it's red tone shimmery-esque bronzer, but I think it's just the nostalgia that goes along with it, and the fact that this is the first high-end bronzer I bought. Because the first bronzer I bought was the Queen Collection bronzer that Jackie Yana had recommended from CoverGirl. And then when I panned that one, I was like, I want to get another bronzer. And then I watched her favorites video. I saw that she had this one on. And I was like, man, whoa, what is that on her cheeks? And then she said it was this. So I immediately had to go out and get it just because it was stunning. I still love this product. I actually had wore this product like last week because I had brought all my bronzers over here, and I have a backup of this because I like it that much. So I know it's that shimmery red tone that I talked about, but I really love this one, especially in the summertime. This is one of my favorite like go-tos for my red shimmery look. When I want to have that extra like fiery moment, I reach for that one, and some of the other ones that you'll see higher up. Now the next two I have are from like Makeup Revolution, X Revolution. Y'all know they have a whole bunch of different Revolution, Pro Revolution, all that. I have the, what is this? The Revolution Glow Splendorous Ultra Matte Bronze in the shade Dark. I had bought the shade Deep originally because I didn't know how deep it was actually going to run. But one thing I will say about Makeup Revolution, they're good when it comes to bronzers and giving good shade ranges. Now, them blushes and highlighters they be doing in the face palettes, I don't know who picked those. The only one I actually like is Tammy's, because I feel like she picked colors that work well for our skin tone. I don't know who picks them normally, because no ma'am, no sir, no. But this one is gorgeous. I actually had to return the shade Deep. Well, sorry, no, I sold the shade Deep to somebody else, and then I went back and bought the shade Dark when it went on sale. This is a really nice bronzer for the price. I actually compared this to the Charlotte Tilbury one, and it performed quite well. So the only reason it's lower down is because I own the Charlotte Tilbury one, and since I spent higher coins on it, I'm going to use that one more. And I base it upon how much I use it as well. But this is a good product, so don't sleep on it and don't think that it's not good. It's good. It's just more of, we know I'm a luxury high-end type of gal, so I'm going to use the luxury high-end more than I'm going to use this. So it's not bad. I just don't reach for it as much because I own the Charlotte Tilbury. But that is a good dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, and there's a whole video on it. I'll try to remember to link videos to as many of these things as I can. I'm not the type that's going to like go down in the comment section, in the description box and link all the videos to all these bronzers, because I'm just not. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm sorry. It's Revolution Pro, and this is a sculpting bronzer in the shade Enrobe. I thought it was so funny when what's her name, OMG Lashes bought this shade. I was like, what does she think about this shade? Girl, that's my shade. So this is a red undertone, but it has a really nice satin finish to it. So it has a similar finish to the what is it, the Nabla one, the Nabla Skin Glaze that just went on sale at Sephora. At Ulta this week. The week I'm feeling this during 21 Days of Beauty. This is really similar to that one. I feel like it has a little bit more of a powdery look to it than that one does, but I feel like it gives the same effect, and they look really nice. It can also be kind of similar to the Kosas one, but I just really like this bronzer. Only thing is it has that red undertone and the Nabla one doesn't, so that's why it's lower down than the Nabla one, because, you know, since the Nabla has more neutral undertone, I like it a little bit better, because I keep saying winter is 3 months in Chicago, and I can only use this 3 months, and you just saw like 3 or 4 other red bronzers, so like I have to rotate accordingly. So that's why it's where it is. So again, like I said, Makeup Revolution is really good when it comes to making bronzers. Like the Revolution brand as a whole, they're really good at making bronzers for people my skin tone. So if you're looking for one, I would definitely say go check them out. But you know, that's just me. The next ones I have to talk about is the Gucci, what is this called? Gucci bronzing powder. I have the shade number 5. 5 is the darkest one that they have. It has a very perfumey smell to it, because y'all know luxury stuff just has to be bougie and perfumey. I have not used this one that much, believe it or not. Like, sometimes I feel like it looks patchy on the cheeks when I put it on. Sometimes I don't. So I don't know if it's just like certain things I put it over that make it look that way versus other things that it doesn't. I honestly don't know, but I don't like this one as much as I thought I was going to for the price I paid for it. But again, it's more of people always want to make red tone bronzers, and I don't really like red tone in the summer. In the winter. So this doesn't get that much love for me, because in the summertime I have other stuff I still reach for more than this. I don't know if it's because of the perfume smell. I don't know if it's because, like I said, the little bit of patchiness that goes on with it, because I felt like it went on smooth for the most part, but then sometimes I notice it be patchy in certain areas depending on what foundation I put it over or certain things I put it over. So I was kind of disappointed in it for that. But it's not to say it's a bad product. It's just more of, I feel like it's one of those products that's a little finicky, and if you put it over certain things it works, and if you don't put it with certain things it doesn't work. It's like, anybody got time for all that? I keep talking about how many bronzers in this collection, so I don't have time for all that. Like, please get your life in order. Thank you so much. So the next one I have is the Vesca Kissed by Bali Soft Matte Bronzing Powder. I really like this. I wish I had got a shade lighter, because this shade is a little bit cool, but I'm fine with this one. I'll actually wear this one in the wintertime still too, even though it is a little bit darker, just because it has more of a neutral undertone. And that's what I appreciate about this one. Even though it is darker, it has a neutral undertone, so it's like I can use a light hand and use this one in the wintertime, and then in the summertime I can go ahead and use this one if I feel like it. I don't feel like having a warm bronzer that day. I want more of a neutral one. This formulation on this is really nice. It's nice and soft looking on the skin, but it gives good pigmentation. So like, be light-handed with it. Don't go in thinking you have to use a lot and build it up. Like, you use a light amount and get a good pigmentation off this. So just keep that in mind, because when I first tried it I went a little heavy-handed and I was got crazy. So just be advised on that. That product is quite pigmented. The next one I have is the Kosas Warm Dark Bronze in the shade Deep. This is a beautiful product. I know too, the Fancy Space says it smells really bad. I don't really feel like it smells too bad, but then again, like, I guess I'm not as sensitive to scents as she is, because I don't really smell too much of anything when I use it. I just kind of put it on my face and go. It gives a gorgeous bronze, like, satin look. Like, this is like the red tone version of the Skin Glaze from Nabla, in my personal opinion. So if you like a more red tone bronze, I would say get this one. But if you like more neutral tone bronze, then I would say get the Nabla one. But I feel like they're essentially the same and look the same on the skin pretty much. This one has a little bit more radiance than the Nabla one does. To me, the Nabla one looks more like a satin wash of bronze on the skin. This one gives more of like a radiant satin look to it. So this is going to be more radiant than the Nabla one in my personal opinion. But I really like the formula on it, and I try to use it quite frequently in the summertime, because that's the time I prefer to use it. Next I have the Prime Beauty bronzer in the shade Bronzeville. I found out about this brand from Jackie Aina. I really like this one. It's been through it. Like, it has specks of setting powder in it. I know you can't see it, but this is a really nice bronzer from a black owned brand if you want to try them. I did a video on their setting powder as well. I actually have their setting powder underneath my eyes right now. Like, I love this brand. I can't wait to see the next things that they come out with. They have a eyeshadow palette called Island Gal, and then I think they have loose highlighters, but I'm not really big on loose highlighters, so I didn't buy those, but I did buy the setting powders, and I do have this bronzer. I'm hoping they come out with blushes next, because I really like their bronzer, so I feel like they would do a really good job with blushes as their next complexion product. So hopefully they get that ball rolling on that. I don't know, they might be working on stuff, or they might not be able to do that right now because of the pandemic and sales not going that well, because people are having to prioritize. The next one I have is the Vive Modern Bronzer Duo. I have the one Deep, of course, so they have Deep 1 and Deep 2. I put this one here just because I like it. I like the coloring of it. It's just more of, I need to fill it out some more. So it's not like it's bad to the point where I feel like it should be as lower down with the other things, but at the same time it's not like top tier, like best top 10, top 15, not even top 20. So that's why it is where it is. So it's a good product. I just need to fill it out a little bit more, but I've liked what I've used of it so far. It doesn't get patchy. It blends nice and smoothly across the skin. It gives me a nice little bronze situation, so you know, there's that. And I'm interested to see what other stuff she comes out with. So the next bronzer I have to talk about is the Juvia's Place Bronzed palette in the shade Dark. This one gives me very much Fenty vibes. If you all remember, I swatched compared it to the Fenty ones. Like, this one looks like Coco Naughty, and this one looks like Mocha Mommy in my personal opinion. Like, I swatched and compared both of them, and both of these are only $18 worth. The Fenty one, I forgot how much they are a piece, but I think it comes out to like 40 bucks if you buy like both of those, versus just $18 for both of these in the pan together. So just keep that in mind. Now, I don't know how much each one is per ounce or whatever. This is 1.14 for 1.14 ounces with both of these. So I don't know how much it is each like pan or whatnot. But if you want a good Fenty dupe, I definitely say try this out. Now the formula of them is not the same. I just feel like the color is the same. This is pretty smooth and blendable and nice though. So if you want a nice alternative, and y'all know Juvia's Place always having some sale, you should go ahead and check out that bronzer and save yourself some coins, girl. Cause it's kind of bad, girl. Can't nobody be spending all these coins on bronzer. Okay. So we're gonna get into like my all-time top tier favorites now. And one of them I feel like you'd be surprised about, because I was talking crap about brands not being inclusive with shades and all that, but the formula of this is just so nice. Like I told y'all, I'm willing to use the cream and then put that on top of it because it just blends like butter. But next we're going to talk about the Fenty bronzers. So this is the one I talked about, Cocoa Naughty and Mocha Mommy. Let me show you what both of them look like, and then you can tell me if you feel like they look similar, because you just saw it in the last frame. So this is Cocoa Naughty and this Mocha Mommy. When this first came out, the funny part is I didn't like Cocoa Naughty, so I went out and bought Mocha Mommy after the fact because it was more red tone. But in the wintertime I like to use Cocoa Naughty, and then in the summertime of course I use Mocha Mommy because as you can see it's more red tone and this one is more neutral, so it'll work for me in the wintertime better. But I feel like they look really close. I feel like the one in Juvia's Place, the one supposed to be Cocoa Naughty, is a little bit darker, but otherwise I feel like Mocha Mommy looks exactly the same. And for 18 bucks for both of them, I definitely think you should try it. But I just love my Fenty ones. Like, I live for my Fenty ones. I love them. I use these quite frequently. I use Cocoa Naughty actually a whole lot more than I use Mocha Mommy, but I love them all. Say the formulation is beautiful. The weird thing is I hardly ever reach for the cream one. I always just go for the powder ones. But I think it's just because I'm so used to having the powder ones and not the cream ones. Plus, I feel like the cream one is more neutral, whereas like the powder one is more yellow undertone. So it's like I'm trying to figure out where they decided to make that decision, because it's like when you put that one on top, I don't necessarily always like the way it looks. So there's that. The next one I have to talk about is the Nabla one, of course. Now these are my top tier bronzers that we're talking about now. So from the Fenty ones on, from the Juvia's Place ones on are like my top tier. Like if I had to replace them on my collection, I would run out and buy them immediately. This is the one I told you all about. Sorry, it's called Profile from Nabla. This is skin bronzing. The color on this doesn't look that exciting, but I'm telling y'all it's really nice. I did a swatch of all these in a video, which you all actually told me was really helpful because 21 Days of Beauty came up and you got to see swatches on someone of your skin tone as opposed to a lighter skin tone. The funny thing is I don't like to do swatch videos, so a lot of times I don't, but I did a joke video with my son about swatching all the Nabla bronzers, all the Nabla highlighters, and y'all actually really watched the video, and then people start thumbsing down because they was mad that they found out it was April Fool's joke. So then I actually had to go and swatch them because people was actually upset. Random side note, but I really like this bronzer. Like, this is definitely like your skin, but better. Like, it actually looks like you're just bronzed from within with this bronzer. It is just so gorgeous. I need to hurry up and finish y'all because it's almost like 11. Yeah, it's almost 12:30. I still got to drive somewhere, handle business, and then turn around and go home. Make sure I catch up with Adriangameover. So let's wrap this up real quick. I got like 6, 7 more. Okay, so this Westman Atelier bronzer I talked all this crap about. The Beauty Butter Powder Bronzer in the shade Soleil Rich. Like I said in that video, does she know what the definition of rich is? Especially when it comes to brown, because who the hell is this rich on? This matches my foundation shade. Where is this rich? Somebody go get her and explain to her what the definition of rich is, because this is not it. This is just as ashy as that other one. Matter of fact, I'm going to swatch it so you can see. To me, it's just as ashy as the Goya one from SHANTIKAI. Do you see it? You see how ashy that is? This is the Goya one, if you can see it. And then this is the Westman Atelier. But the formula on this is so beautiful. That's how I got to be so high up. Like, now I wouldn't rush out to replace this, so I probably shouldn't say that. I wouldn't rush out to replace this because I have to do too much work with this. I have to add a cream underneath it and then put this on top in order to make this work. And even in winter time I would have to do the same thing just because this is so ashy and so light. So hopefully she get her life together and come up with some shades that actually. But if she doesn't, then you know I got this one and we just gonna ride till the wheels fall off because it was $75, so we're going to use it. Like, I plan on using this one a lot during the winter time just because, you know, it's so damn expensive and I need my money's worth out of it. So the next bronzers I have, believe it or not, they made it this high on the list, are the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzers in the shade dark and deep. So the shade we had to wait for forever is deep, and this is the darkest one he came out with. It's just like a red undertone bronzer, nothing exceptional about it. The dark one, again, kind of reminds me of Fenty. I feel like once Fenty came out with the yellow undertone bronzer and everybody started doing it, because after she came out with that, then the Juvia's Place one came out. So to the best of my knowledge, that was the first one I saw that had more of a yellowish undertone to it. And then this dark one, I feel like it's really similar to Cocoa Naughty. Let me see if I can grab Cocoa Naughty. Yep, that's the right one. You see what I'm saying? Like, it looks really similar to Cocoa Naughty in my personal opinion. So I feel like Rihanna paved the way with this. Now, I don't know how right I am, but this was the first one I actually saw with this type of undertone in it for people my skin tone. And then the Mario one came out, and then the Juvia's Place one came out. So I feel like Riri was on it as usual, and everybody followed suit behind her. Now, let me see if this one is similar to Cocoa Naughty. I'm sorry, Mocha Mommy or not. So here is Mocha Mommy, and here is the shade Deep. So it's like you could have just bought the Fenty one, girl, since you know they're exactly the same shade, and it took him forever to come out with this shade for people who look like me. Yes, I'm still bitching about it. It's been 500 years later. I'm still bitching about it. So the formula is all really nice, which is obviously how I got to the top. Now, I wouldn't rush out and buy Deep again. I might rush out and buy Dark again if I had ran out of my Fenty Cocoa Naughty. Because if I remember correctly, his are just a tad bit cheaper than Rihanna's. And then with the VIB sale, I would probably opt for his instead of Rihanna's, because you get that extra little deal and that extra little discount. And they're essentially the same color, and they both perform beautifully. So I would personally buy his, believe it or not, at the sale, because like I said, it's just, I feel like it's just a tad bit cheaper from what I remember, but don't quote me. Now we are on the top 5, and you're gonna be shocked. I'm telling you, I'm quite sure you're gonna be shocked at what number 1 is, but it is literally the bronzer I reach for the most. Like, I reach for it the most, and I never thought I would reach for it the most, because I don't feel like this brand is that inclusive when it comes to stuff for people my skin tone. It took them, matter of fact, forever to come up with the bronzer shade I'm wearing on my face right now, after they had that thing out forever. So I'm definitely side-eyeing them, but I have to be realistic about the ones I use the most, and it is definitely the one I use the most. But anyway, we're on number 5. So top 5, Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush bronzer in the shade Deep, number 4, which is her darkest shade. So I'm gonna need you to come with it and do better, because this is a darker shade. I feel like there should be one darker than this. And I heard like they said, lighter people were saying maybe there should be shades in between. I can't speak for the shades in between, because I got the usual what I get, which is just 1. So people always want to give us 1. If you're lucky, like Mario did, you get 2, but you know, I usually just get 1. And this is no exception. I got 1. But the formula on this is really nice. It blends onto the skin effortlessly. This is the one I was talking about, when you blend it on the skin and you don't feel like you're blending powder onto the skin. It feels like you're putting on nothing. But you can definitely see a change in the skin. It gives you that really nice natural bronze glow from within. So the ones I talk about from Nabla On are the ones I feel like that do that. They just blend in naturally, and they give you that glow from within look. So this does that. It gives a nice matte bronze, and it's absolutely wonderful and stunning. I'm waiting on Mother to come out and bring us some bronzers and just shut everybody down. Like, just, that should be your next project, Mother. Come out with a bronzer and just shut everybody down. When Pat McGrath comes out with a bronzer, no one else would exist. Because I feel like I said Natasha Denona, and I went to say Pat McGrath. When she comes out with a bronzer, nobody else will exist. Just like with the blushes. I've been using her blushes a lot. I've been trying not to use other people's blushes. The only other people's blushes I think I've been using was Manny's, and I've been using Manny, Patrick Ta, Makeup by Mario, and Pat McGrath. Those like the only ones I've been using. I haven't really been using any other blushes in my collection. But on to bronzer, which we were here for. Number 4 is the Dior Forever Natural Bronze in the shade 8 Deep Bronze. Again, this is the darkest shade they have. I have to work with the darkest shade. To me, this has a little bit of a red undertone, but I feel like it's more neutral overall, so then that way I can still wear it in the winter and the summertime. So I appreciate ones like that that are more neutral, because then I can determine if I want to wear it in the summer, if I want to wear it in the winter, and I can just wear it all year long. That's my preference. But as you can see, I have a lot of red undertones. People have a tendency to think that that's just what we want, and that's the only kind of bronzer shade we can wear. I can wear a neutral bronzer shade. You can make a neutral bronzer shade. So can we do more of that instead of more of this red? So I have like 20 reds. This has a perfumey smell to it, of course, because it's Dior, it's luxury, it's bougie. They think your face wants to smell like perfume. They haven't got it like Huda finally got it, that we don't want a perfumey smelling product. So there you go, there's that. But I really like this bronzer. It looks really nice on the skin. Like I told you all, the ones from here on out are just the ones that like have a nice satin matte finish, or they look like your skin but better type bronzers, and you don't have to put in a whole bunch of effort when it comes to blending to make those work. So this is definitely one of those. I absolutely love it. Number 3 is the LYS No Limits Matte Bronzer in the shade Strength. The first time I tried this, I was like, yes. It reminded me of the Huda one immediately, where it just blends in effortlessly, but you can see it on your skin, and it gives you that natural soft matte textured bronzer. It just makes you look like you're naturally bronzed. Like, this right here is amazing, and the price of this is absolutely amazing. Like, this is clean, black owned brand that is reasonably priced, and I'm here for all of it. Like, I can't wait to see what else she comes out with. I would like her to come up with a full coverage foundation, because I'm not with this serum liquid foundation your skin but better stuff. I'm really not. And if it is, it's full coverage your skin but better. And I heard hers is like a medium and it doesn't build up that well. If I remember, Team the Fancy Face didn't like it, so that was another reason I didn't really get it, aside from the fact that it was serum foundation. I don't like serum foundations, but the bronzer and the under eye powder can get it. Now, the only thing about the under eye powder for me was I have to use it with a sponge and press it into the skin. I can't use a brush underneath it because I felt like it just clung to the creases underneath my eyes, and I wanted them to be smooth, not the powder clinging underneath my eye. That was cute. But sorry about the random review on the brand, but you know, I only tried 2 things from them, so I figured I'd just talk about the other thing here and move on with life, so you don't have to go watch the video. The next thing I have is the the Glowish Soft Radiant Bronzing Powder in the shade 5 Rich. Again, as usual, it's only one shade for people that look like me. That just seems to be the running thing here. Like, we'll give you one just so you don't complain, but it's like the one usually only works for people my skin tone and no one darker. So what about the people behind me? They're still gonna complain because you still didn't cover all the bases because they don't have one. So anyway, this product is just like the LYS one. You just blends on the skin effortlessly and gives a nice glow radiant blend to the bronzer. It is absolutely stunning and amazing, and I would definitely run out and get this again if I lost it. Even though it's a red undertoned bronzer, I still see myself using it in the wintertime, and that's rare because that's not something I do. So number 1 is the Suede Deep to Dark Bronzing Duo. Now, it took them forever to come out with this, because when they first came out, I think they had like 1 shade, and I think they came, or they might have had 2 shades. I think they did a light to, let's say a fair to light, and then I think like a light to medium bronze, and that was it. And then people that look like me were just like, oh, so just fuck us, right? But I feel like they showed that before when they first came out with their foundations, and they had to come out with shades later on that actually worked for me, because I had to mix like 2 shades when that foundation first came out in order to try it out, because there wasn't just a shade for me. I think they did better with concealers, but it's easier to do concealers because you're using it to highlight as a general rule. You're not using it to like actually match your skin. So when this first came out, I was like, I don't even want to buy it. I don't want to try it. I don't want to waste my time, because I'm like, it took you forever to come out with this crap. But I ended up finding it on sale on Beautydealsbff for I think like 20% off, and it had like just dropped recently. So I ended up giving y'all a video on it. Y'all didn't really care either, because y'all was like, you know, I guess y'all felt like me, like it took you too long to come out with this, so I don't care. But this is actually the bronzer I use the most when I'm at home. Like, when I don't know which to grab, I'll grab for this. I use the red tone one a lot. I start off with the lighter one, but I don't use it nearly as much as I use this one. So this is actually my staple go-to bronzers, believe it or not, after I talked all that crap about it. But I mean, y'all know that's how I felt. You knew I was saying it. So it took them forever to come out with this, and they need to do better with their inclusivity. But realistically, this is like the one I reach for the most. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily run out and get this one if I lost it like the other ones, just because since I have 35 and I have so many, like, I could easily replace it with the LYS one from the black home brand and call it a day. But it is the one I use the most. It is the one I have on my face right now, so I figured I would put it at the top, since realistically I use it like quite frequently. But those are all the bronzers I had in my collection to rank. I will do a part 2 where I just do the cream ones. That shouldn't take nearly as long, because I have like less than 10 cream bronzers, since that wasn't really popular, and it's still not my personal preference. I prefer a powder, if you can't tell by all the powders we just talked about. But let me know, do y'all own any of these bronzers in your collection? Were there any like that you thought that I should rank in different places? Were there any that you're interested in trying? Let me know down below, and I hope you all enjoyed this video and you can sit through it. Remember, y'all, if diamonds, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.